Hello everybody, it is my absolute pleasure to be doing the overview of the role-playing game of the Planet of the Apes. This is the core rulebook right here in this video, and I'll do the ANSA files source book in a future video. I had tried to do a video of this and it was going quite long, which I knew it would, so you know what, I'm just going to give you kind of the Cliff Notes version if I can, if I'm capable of that. It's very difficult, because obviously I have a love for this game, the Kickstarter, the products, the IP, everything. So yes, my view is slightly slanted, I would say, as being a big fanboy. But the Kickstarter's been fantastic, and the quality is great. And a blanket statement is that the art is just great. For a Planet of the Apes fan, this has got exactly what you want in it. Some really, really great art. A lot of great people helped work on it. Some names that kind of surprised me. I'm glad to see Rich Hanley was involved in it. He did the lexicon of the Planet of the Apes and the timeline of the Planet of the Apes. I was amazed that Jared Earl actually was involved in this as well. He's from Nightfall Games, and I've done videos on his Slay Industries. I've been a fan of that game for a long time. But Andrew Gaska is the man, really the creative director, lead writer, and franchise consultant, and it really, really, really helps. He's great. So yeah, when this came out, they sent us the PDF. I sent just email after email after email of things that I saw that were maybe incorrect, maybe typos and things like that, as well as just some of my own with the rules, some things that maybe didn't gel, or maybe I think maybe should be changed with the layout of the book. And the company was Magnetic Press Play were extremely receptive, and I am so thankful for that. But they thanked me even more by putting my name in the book, and honestly, it's just absolutely surreal that my name is in the official role-playing game of the Planet of the Apes. I was speechless when I saw it written in there, but that's just a little bit of me being so happy about this whole project. So again, you know, you can see what you will when it comes to this art, but it's just fantastic. It's going to tell you a lot about where it gets its information from, like what it's doing, like where it gets its system from, which is going to be from the Weston Games D6 system rule set, which of course a lot of people know. The Star Wars role-playing game is one of my favorite role-playing games of all time, one of the ones I started off with when I was younger. And it's just so great that you've got three things. You've got Planet of the Apes, a role-playing game of the Planet of the Apes, and you've got the D6 system. So it's just really just an awesome trifecta. And there's a lot of great information here about eras of play, brief history of the Planet of the Apes right here, where it gets its canon from. So the movies, this is very important it needs to be for a lot of people so you understand what stuff it's grabbing from. It's going to be from the 5 movies of the original Planet of the Apes, starting with 1968, Planet of the Apes. It says it incorporates aspects of the television series, that's from 1974, Return to the Planet of the Apes, the animated show, which is from 1975, and then Andrew Gaska's novels, Conspiracy and Death of the Planet of the Apes, fantastic books. There's also many aspects of the original comic series from 1974 to 1976, as well as nods and homages to over 5 decades of classic POTA source material. So that's very important you understand. It's none of the new movies. This is all classic ape stuff. We've got a great timeline here. This is going to be very helpful for you. There's going to explain to you about the lawgiver is what a game master is called in this. And there's also the lawgiver, the greatest ape of all time. And then they call them astronauts, which in the TV show, that's what they call them. So that's what they're called here, astronauts. There's a cool retro little RPG roots section here about the D6 system. And then some of the changes that they've made, which are very, very good. And I feel like they've done a great job at kind of tweaking that old D6 system and giving it new life and making it easier. They've done stuff such as these are your attributes: dexterity, knowledge, mechanical, perception, strength, and willpower. They've kind of changed some stuff. They boiled down just 6 signature skills per attribute. That's very helpful. Then they've added some stuff too. Mementos, new combat options and attacks. There's combat defenses now. Mental defenses. There's rules for psionic powers. The wild die, of course, is back. And they've kind of tweaked that a little bit as well. And I love this. Not a gamer, we've got you covered. There's just so much, not only in this book, but the ANSA Files source book has got so much. If you're a fan of Planet of the Apes, to me, even though I love the lexicon of the Planet of the Apes, this is like the definitive, official, like everything that you want or want to know about when it comes to the Planet of the Apes. And so let's continue on, or I'll just, this thing will go so slow. We've got a thematic mode here telling you about if you want to just do kind of like a suspense action and an explanation of important issues. You've got like maybe social commentary, puns, escalating threats leading to an emotionally charged, brutal ending are all elements to be found in the POTA adventure. You can do that with the thematic mode. You've also got like a campaign mode or an event, serial play, maybe solo play, which is a great aspect of this too. And we're waiting on the solo book to be released down the road. There's a word here about discrimination. Obviously, it plays into the whole social commentary for the Planet of the Apes. That's a very interesting section right there. And none of this stuff is heavy-handed whatsoever. You're going to have stuff like quirks, motives, and remarkable abilities. It helps your character stand out in a crowd. That's what those things do, and they're going to explain it to you there. Rules for fear and madness, rewards, kind of just giving you an overview of your character here. You've got things called mementos. Now, one of the things that's really neat is your character has an item, and it gives you a bonus to a skill. You can also have a live action mementos. That's something if you actually have on the table with you while you're playing, that can be your live action memento, and it gives you even more of a benefit. And it's to help kind of create that buzz about your table, to make it kind of look like the Planet of the Apes. Or I know the Alien RPG has really embraced that fandom has, where they completely changed their game room into looking like, the deck of a ship, and schematics and all sorts of stuff, name badge, ID badges, name badges, to try to replicate what they've seen in the movies and to bring that into their game. And that's a really cool aspect of it. So then we're going to go into the rules. The rules are very simple. You've got an attribute, and you're going to have skills linked to them. And we know that stuff. That's pretty easy. So if you've got, let's say you've got 3D in an attribute, that's what you roll. This green one's going to be the wild die. You're going to add those up. Okay, not too bad. Now, if you've got a skill, maybe you've got 1D in a skill that's attached to that attribute, and you're trying to roll that skill, you're going to add, and let's say you've got 2 in that. You're going to roll your attribute with your skill dice. Any pips you have, if it's like a +1 or a +2, 3 pips convert to 1 dice. 1 die. So like right here in the example, your dex is 3D. So we've got that. And let's just go ahead and grab our wild die first. So our dex is 3D. And acrobatics is 1D plus 1. So we add that in. We've got 4 dice plus 1 when using the acrobatic skill. You add those up, and there you go. Now, one of the things that I love about this system, I always have, is that unlike other games that decided as time went on to give you a bunch of feats and talents and things that you choose and pick that create cool abilities for your character, the only thing that you really get is in the D6 games is more dice. And so you're just better at doing things. And if you want to be heroic, you've got to role play those moments and bring that character to life. And that's one of the things I really love about this game. You can take a character that's just made, or you can take a character that someone's been playing for years, and if you're new to the game, you can play that character they've been playing for years, because it's literally just more dice. Some people might think that's kind of boring, but it's truly, truly not. This is inspired, actual role-playing, heroic actions that you come up with your imagination, with your dice facilitating that. And that's when it's so easy. But this is all really well explained to you right here. It's going to explain this for classic D6 system fans, kind of the difference of them. They've broken up the technical between knowledge and mechanical. We then introduce willpower to cover most situations involving social interactions and self-discipline. Finally, we boiled down the skill list for modern play, and I agree with all of these changes. They're fantastic. Like I said, I will be skipping over some sections. We've got difficulty numbers. That's going to be a big important thing right here. D6, man, they did all sorts of rules compendiums and rules updates. They try to figure this out as it went on in its lifespan. And this right here just kind of goes back to the basics of DN5. It's going to be very easy. Easy is going to be a 10. Average is going to be 15, and so on. And then you're going to have success and failure based off of if you did better, like 2 times better than the target number, the difficulty number, or maybe you did worse, and it's a failure, an exceptional failure, a catastrophic failure. And that's very, very easy to understand, just, again, with math and understanding that you rolled really, really well, and so you got like an exceptional success. And then there's the wild die. These are really, really fun. So you're going to have the wild die that's going to roll. And then this was really pushed in the 2nd edition of Star Wars. And it's one that I've always I've had issues with in the past, where I thought that it was just way too powerful. But it seems like this has been balanced now, because you've got advantages and complications with your wild die. And I just like the way that they've done this. So what's going to happen is when you roll something and this comes up with a 6, and you're a player and you succeed, you can make an ordinary success become an exceptional success, and the player gains 1 hero point, or the player gets to choose to just gain 2 hero points, or another player or ally in the scene gains 1 hero point. So there's some really cool options there. But this also does something when you fail. So if you fail the roll, but this rolled a 6, this can explode. Whoa, I did it again, and I rolled a 6. And then I add that to it right there. So it was 8 more to the roll. Whether the roll succeeds or fails, the player still gains 1 hero point, regardless of how many times the wild die was a 6. And it's just really fun. That's a fun aspect of it. And it makes every roll kind of hold your breath, see what's going to happen. You can also have nice try. The roll fails, but the player grants 1 hero point to another player or ally present. And this, again, this is what the player chooses. Play it forward. The roll fails, but the player grants a +1 die bonus to a single roll made by another player or ally. Bonus can be used for the other player or ally's next roll. So very, very good. But what happens if you roll a 1? This comes up a 1, then something disadvantage is going to happen. And the lawgiver is going to choose. They can induce a setback. Maybe it's additional time or resources are required. An ordinary success becomes a partial success, and the player gains a hero point. The roll fails, but the player gains 2 hero points. So you're always kind of generating hero points in this game when it comes to this wild die, advantages, or even complications, which that's really, really neat. And I'll explain here about some hero points in a second. But if the roll fails, that's if it succeeded, the lawgiver can introduce a setback, turn an ordinary failure into an exceptional failure, and the player gains 1 hero point, or turn an exceptional failure into a catastrophic failure, and the player gains 2 hero points. It says right here, I love this, it says no way to lose, roll anyway. If the target number is reduced so far that there is no way the roll can fail, have the player roll anyway. Their level of success and the wild die can make things interesting. So it's just really, really cool aspect of this game. Then we're going to talk about those hero points. Let's do that. So you can spend hero points in the game to do one of the following. You can double the die code of a single roll. Remember, it's roll after penalties are applied, but before rolling. There's been some question about that. I'm going to play it until I see something different where you're going to do your normal, you're going to add up your normal positive skill dice, like your attribute dice or skill, whatever it is, and modifiers, bonuses. And then you're going to subtract the penalties and then double it. So double the die code of a single roll after penalties are applied but before rolling. You can redo. You can use a hero point to just re-roll a failed roll, or it's just a flesh wound. When you gain the wounded, incapacitated, or mortally wounded condition, reduce it to stunned instead. So some really cool things you can use to help give you advantage in the game. So we got stuff for keeping time. You're going to get a quick, a basic, and a slow. So you'll get several quicks based off of your dexterity. You're going to get one basic action, which most actions you're going to do is what you're going to roll and use. And then slow actions are anything that's going to take more than 1 round, from minutes to weeks to longer. So maybe it's dismantling a machine or conducting research. So then we're going to break down. I really like this, and noted by Augustus here. They've got kind of like self-aware of this is like the apes and what they're saying about these different skills here. All the different skills you have based off of the different attributes, dexterity, knowledge, your mechanical. And I really like these sections, just the way they look, and they're easy the way that they're laid out here. It tells you what they are, quick or slow. And then how you take multiple skills, using multiple skills and taking multiple actions. If you take more than one action, you're going to lose dice from whatever it is you're trying to do. It says that, like right here, a player can make a single basic action or basic movement per round. Taking more than that reduces the die code of each roll by 1d per action. Pretty normal when it comes to D6 Star Wars right there. And right here, a player can make as many quick actions per round as their dex die code value without incurring a penalty. If they want to take up more than that, apply the same modifiers as the taking multiple basic actions below. So very important there to understand the different things there. We've got common situation skill use modifiers. This is very helpful to get a gauge on what some modifiers might be if you're in certain situations. And then it does have character skill, vehicle skill, and grand skill when it comes to all sorts of different things for vehicles, characters, or maybe things such as like, massive ape city ships that ply the open seas Maybe a monolithic structure is left over from the time of the ancients. If it's larger than a vehicle scale, it's grand. So that's cool. You've got your trusting to luck. There is going to be something where you're going to kind of do like a yes or no roll. You're going to roll the wild die either once or a number of times equal to their gambling die code. This is one thing I like, is they make the gambling skill important, whichever is greater. For every 6 rolled, they're in luck. And the more 6s, the better the luck is. 1 6 will do for finding a rock in a cave, but if you expect that old bridge to hold while you run across it, you'll need to roll at least 3 of them, giving you an example there of how you can have kind of luck play into it. And then we're going to break down into the great apes. And I just want to keep on talking about how great the art is, and it's just a given. It's just fantastic. I love all the different sayings here and there. So you've got your chimpanzees, and they're going to explain to you about them, gorillas and orangutans. I love the different colors they use for the different type of apes. There's some cool stuff here about the sacred scrolls and breaking down some of those, such as sacred scrolls like 2 and 3. You've got Beware the Beast Man, for he is the devil's pawn. That's 29:6. Here's your articles of faith. So really delving into what they believe. Ape never kills ape. There's some other sacred texts as well, telling you about the quota system. Again, me going more deeper into my POTA nerddom right there. I'm going to try to not do that as much. Explain to you about ape government, the justice system. It's just fantastic. And then you've got great apes archetype templates. So when you want to say, hey, I want to play an ape journalist, this is how you say, okay, it's going to give you a quote, the background, the personality, you can use it or not, and then a memento. Favorite hat, grant you a +1 die bonus to perception, investigate, skill rolls when worn. That's how mementos work. They give you a little boost. What equipment they may have, and then connections to other characters. And then here's your attributes. And if you see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And then these, 1, 2, equal 18. And all these should equal up to 18. So that's how it kind of balances them out, okay? So then you're going to apply skills to those. So you'll grab a template, and you'll add your skills, and you're really ready to go. Ape Scientist, you've got your States Ape, Ape Adventurer. Again, they've got different mementos, different equipment. Ape Lawgiver, Ape Inspector. You've got Philosopher Ape, Service Ape. You've got your Constable Ape, Ape Soldier, Veteran Ape, and then the Beast Man. So it's going to talk about humankind, just dumb beasts, a beast by any other name. If you want to roll up my pet human table, which is very fun. That's how you can get bright eyes. Tribal humans, and it's got that. Human vermin control. They're dirty chompers. They can actually cause a mild disease with their mouth, because you can play a tribal human in this, much like Nova. And they're going to explain here about the ecology of the tribal human, the challenge of playing a tribal human. All this right here is very cool and very important. All PC tribal humans start out mute. Though expressive body language, they can communicate their intentions to other tribal humans with no roles needed. If there are only tribal humans present, just tell them and the LG what you want to convey. Here are some ways to communicate up to other cultures. So if you were in mixed company, no understanding, you have to pantomime. Mutant telepathy. Mutants find sifting through animalistic minds difficult, so it's harder to get into your mind. As you gain in experience points, they can choose to spend them on learning to talk. Improving your ability to speak is covered on page 117. Generally speaking, tribal humans may not start play with this ability. You cannot speak. But you do have this gestural language as well right here, via like hand signs and gestures and expressions. So just to play a tribal human is unique as a player, as a human being at the table, trying to communicate. You cannot do the things that you're normally able to do at the table, being a living, breathing human. It is absolutely fantastic and a great choice that they made thematically for this game. Awesome. Then you've got astronauts. And here they're going to explain all about their earthly origins, challenges of playing them. You've got an environment, rivals, apes, mutants, and tribal humans. So you have a lot of things that are out to get you. And then here are the human archetype templates for the tribals, like tribal human lookout, tribal human protector. You've got the astronaut mission commander, science officer, security specialist, engineer. Obviously, they're mechanical, having 4 dice in it. You can see how that kind of works. And then children of the bomb. Fantastic. You've got the Fellowship of the Holy Fallout and the Underdwellers. So we're going to talk about mutants. They're irradiated, of course, the formalities of them. The Fellowship of the Holy Fallout, those are going to be the mutants that are spotlighted and beneath the Planet of the Apes. Okay, talk about the Alpha and Omega and how they worship the bomb. Then you've got their doctrine of the Fellowship, their mental disciplines, which are in different type of guilds, which is very cool. Challenges of playing a Fellowship mutant. I like how they have those things there. And then you have the Underdwellers. And for those that do not know, these, of course, are spotlighted in the awesome, I think, animated series Return to the Planet of the Apes from 1975. And it's just great. This is a splinter group from the mutants, from the Fellowship, and they're a little bit different. They're a little bit more aggressive with some of their powers, but you're going to have your discipline of the green is these green keepers. It's kind of like their focus of what they're about. And then challenges of playing an Underdweller. I like that a lot. So we've got Mutant Exile, Mutant Orator, you've got Mutant Vanguard, you've got Rogue Gorilloid, who are the makers. And this is where we're starting to delve into Terror on the Planet of the Apes. The Marvel magazine for the Planet of the Apes has a story called Terror on the Planet of the Apes, which is absolutely fantastic and really starts to get gonzo. And that's where you're going to see some of this stuff start to creep in. And I'm so happy to see it because there's a lot of stuff I really, really love. Here's all your rules about psionic powers here. You're going to have how to resist them, how, the availability of them, what their range is, the limitations of them. They're broken up in kind of different disciplines here, like divination powers, divination plus manipulation powers. So a really cool section here, one that was quite challenging to proofread because there's just a lot of things with difficulty numbers and ranges, but really a great section. And then a fantastic thing here, creating your own character. You choose a template. You determine your character's persona. Select your skills, calculate your SRP defenses, decide your personal characteristics, and establish your connections, and you're ready to play. So you choose a template. All right. And then you're going to have some starting hero points, which is going to be 6. So that's pretty cool. You've got that going on. And then you're going to talk about some of your quirks that you can get. They're like this right here. You're restless. You're always on the move. Maybe you're cruel. You enjoy seeing the light of life fade from your enemy's eyes. They're a fun way to add flavor to your game. And their quirks are not penalties. They are opportunities for exercising your role-playing chops. The more you take them into account during play, the more you will be rewarded with experience when the game session ends. It's an optional thing, but doing so gives you access to a remarkable ability. When you make your character choose a quirk or roll one from the table below. Then you've got remarkable abilities here. If your character has a quirk, you can also choose a remarkable ability. So it can be stuff like Lucky. Once per round, when you roll a 1 on the wild die, you may re-roll it. Maybe you're Brutal, +1 damage bonus to all armed melee attacks. You can see how these all kind of go to give you a little boost for your character. I dig it a lot. Different motives you can roll up. Selecting your skills right here. You have 7 dice to distribute among your character skills. You cannot allocate more than 2 dice to any one skill. You'll be able to improve your skills over the course of the adventures, but for now the limit is 2 dice. And that's with the skills that are based off under the attributes. Gridgens, you have Freylins and you have Gridgens for the ape currency. There's optional secrets right here for your character. How to calculate your surprise, readied, and psyche defenses. Those are very, very cool, new, and I dig them a lot. I love the fact there's an example of character creation right here as they break down and create Marius, this gorilla constable right here. How to improve your character, improving both skills and attributes. How to improve your speech if you're a tribal human. And how to make your own template. And that's what they tell you about the 18 dice. And each attribute must have at least 1 die assigned to it, but no more than 5 dice. Telling you about the pips and doing the skills. So you can completely make your own character. And then we have a solo play adventure. And this definitely reminds me of the old Choose Your Own Adventure books. And fighting fantasy, where you're going to roll, you have a story here you're going to go through, switching between these different numbered sections here, rolling up, making attack rolls, stealth rolls, and giving you a choice of which way you want to go. So then we've got our actual rules for combat here, and it comes to getting on with the fighting. So we've got, again, our quick actions, basic, slow. You have multiple actions. It kind of reiterates that right there. Making an attack, your attack roll is going to be your attack total is versus a target number. Compare your attack total with the target number to hit. The higher number wins, whereas your attack total is rolling and adding up your attribute and skill, and the DN is going to be the range of the target plus the target's appropriate SRP or VSM defense. Any miscellaneous bonuses, of course, and penalties. So the different weapons will have different ranges here. To let you know which ones those are. And then like point blank is going to be a DN of 5, short is going to be 10, medium's 15, and long is 20. You can of course aim, and this is all pretty easy to understand. You can go full defense. Here's your SRP defenses. So when you're surprised, it's based off your perception. When you're readied, it's based off your dex. And of course your psyche is going to be based off your will. It's going to be those times 3. That's how you get that. Modifiers to combat, how to do movement, all this is very easy to understand and pretty normal. Disarming, grappling, fatigue plays a big part of this. The environment is going to try to fatigue you. It's very, very strong section. It's one that really blew me away with this game, is how much the environment is like a completely other enemy that you are facing on the Planet of the Apes. Pulling punches options, here's the rules for falling. Area of effect, a lot of this stuff telling you if you want to use maps and miniatures. They really did everything, explaining all that you need should you want to play Theater of the Mind or with maps and miniatures. How to resist damage, you're going to do that with, because the damage code, you're going to try to resist it, and it's going to be based off your strength total. You compare the damage and the strength totals, and then based off those, you're going to get your injury level. Here's going to explain those right here. You've got a heroic stun option where you pretty much just disregard the stun level effect. How to do with breathing, drowning, playing with fire, scaling damage up, and damage between the different scales when it comes to characters, vehicles, and grand. Of course, they're going to try to kill you pretty hard, those vehicles and grand scale will. Biological and chemical hazards. Then we've got healing, natural, recovering from injuries, your recovery table, how quick it takes you, and what you need to roll to try to recover from those different injuries. And I got to say, this section here, just to stand out, again, they were very receptive of maybe changing some stuff around that was maybe in a different location and moving around with one of my suggestions. And again, I'm very, very thankful that they did that and listened to that. So we have a whole section here on mental trauma. You can definitely talk to George Taylor about that, about mental trauma, as he endured that greatly. Basic mental trauma table, you have mental recovery, fear and madness. It is an optional rule. There are expanded trauma levels right here. And then mental attacks, madness quirks that you may get as that affects you. And then you're going to go into the arsenal. Fantastic section right here. Arsenal of conquest and peacekeeping. So you're going to have your different armor. They're going to help you with your resist damage roll. Your weapons, of course, are going to have different type of kind of abilities that they have, properties, if you will, like anti-vehicle or full auto, continuous damage, or a burst. And you've got your melee weapons, modern age, ranged weapons, black powder, old world. They've broken it down all like that, how ammunition is, 2 different types of ammunition, ammo style, unlimited ammo or quartermaster, where you keep track of everything. How long it takes you to reload, weapon classes and ranges. And then some cool pieces of art, breaking down all the different weapons. And you can see they're all kind of like old world range weapons, the different time periods that these things showed up, modern ape ranged weapons. And people may be saying, what's up with this crossbow? Well, the crossbow is used in Terror on the Planet of the Apes. So that's where that come from, that Marvel magazine comic it's drawn by Mike Plug, and Doug Minch is who wrote it. So the great weapons right there from the Apes, how to deal with explosive, grenades, dynamite, all that sorts of stuff. Old world heavy weapons, such as the heavy machine gun, some other gear, great backpacks that the Apes had, always loved those, and a whole bunch of equipment here that you may need, general clothing, and here's a bunch of stuff even on artillery, as you can see here. Should you want to really ramp it up, old world howitzers, an ape light field cannon, maybe you want to recreate a Battle for the Planet of the Apes. And then conveyances, both real and imagined, a section here on vehicles, vehicle movement, drivers, passengers, how it works, repairing and disabling them, collision calculations, catastrophic effects, weapons on them, then going back to like wagons, carriages, and stagecoaches, common cars, sedans, and then we've got our astronaut spacecraft here. So you can see the different type of capsules that were used in the various TV shows and movies. Excellent stuff right there. And then how to run the game. Explaining about You Are the World up in your game, giving you a lot of really good advice right here. Live action mementos and how they work. Difficulty numbers, secret or public, why not both? Whether or not you want to tell them or don't tell them. There's a couple things there to kind of give you the pros and cons, and I really dig that a lot. How to hand out rewards. I like that. Relax. The role of NPCs. So you're going to have several types of NPCs. Rivals, foes and fodder, allies, friends and extras. They're going to have kind of different categories, and that's going to help you a lot. NPC generation, attribute, skill, summary. If you want to try to roll up some stuff quickly, if you need it, or maybe some non-human animals, you've got that as well. Name and title generator, very helpful. And then the environmental zone and effects. Man, this section really just blew me away. There's so much. The environment, like I said earlier, it's just going to really come at you with a lot of stuff you can throw at your characters. And make it so that, especially if you're playing kind of like in the Beneath the Planet of the Apes and Planet of the Apes kind of time, you can really throw a lot of this stuff at them. Avalanches and rock slides, and heck, Return of the Planet of the Apes had a lot of stuff against them environmental-wise as well. Bombardment, here is extreme cold exposure, heat stress damage, geyser fields, hail, infernos, high winds. It does have these great bookmarks here, so that's very helpful. Irradiated areas, of course. Mass illusion from the mutants. You've got that. Mountains, gorges, canyons, and skyscrapers. Quicksand, red lightning storm. I have never seen a game that has thrown so much environmental stuff at the players as this, and I was really, really impressed by it. A riot zone, if you're, of course, like most of us, a fan of Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. How that works. Sandstorms, terrain effects, solar, tar pitch, water environments, underwater, holding one's breath, a bunch of stuff there. Rivers, squalls, tidal waves. They've got a whole bunch of stuff. Like for a squall, just to show you, squall intensity, stay on deck. Storm penalties. What if you roll up a disaster? How long does the storm take? Really, really strong section. I think people will overlook this. They should not. They should incorporate into their game and make the environment a foe for your players. Object structures and durability. If you want to destroy things, how you do that. Here's some great examples of some different objects and structures and how you blow those up and destroy them. Great piece of art right here. This is actually one of my favorites. The limits of the known world. I think that's what it said, yeah. So a Planet of the Apes, telling you about locations, pre-gen characters, Simia, the Ape City, breaking down some of the land here, the National Museum, the National Academy, all the stuff that Taylor ran amok in as he was going nuts. And then we've got some NPCs here. And I love, of course, the different color distinction between them with gorilla and orangutan, chimpanzee. So we've got a lot of NPCs that you can use that you may find there around Ape City, the different provinces, and then some of their animals they use, some of the plants they have. I like Gorilla Kid, of course, Chimpanzee Revolutionary. The Rad Boar is very nasty. Now we're starting to get into some monsters here. The Murder Vine, the Rad Boar. I like the ecology sections about them as well. The Avian Prey Bird is pretty nasty. The border regions here, what is bordering this ape area? And with some of the stuff you're going to find there with their stats. And then we get into the dreaded Forbidden Zone. And we're going to have a lot of the different locations that are out there. Basic Forbidden Zone encounter tables. You can actually roll up some stuff that may happen to you when you're out there. Here's the Eastern Seaboard, the Underworld, which of course I love the Underworld a bunch. Favorite piece of art right there, the Alpha and Omega Bomb. It has the stats for the Doomsday Bomb. And you can actually, how you can set it off. Just awesome. Underdweller Mountain, that's of course from Return of the Planet of the Apes. New Manhattan, Navigating the World Below. Whole bunch of really great tables that were quite challenging to look through for errors. Right here, World Below table. Different locations, what feature, maybe a hazard or encounter. Is it clear or not? As you can see, very large, lots of different options here. Maybe there's something wrong with the ventilation, or there's tar pits. And then we've got Underworld stats. We've got the white ones, Mutant Fellowship Guard. We've got Mutant Citizens, Mutant Fellowship Deacon, and a whole bunch of them for underneath the ground there, and those things that may try to kill you or destroy your mind. And then the Northern Waste and the Ice Apes of Krygor. This is from Return to the Planet of the Apes, the animated show, and I absolutely love that it's there. You've got this huge bear. Adventures on the Planet of the Apes. And so Hunted on the Planet of the Apes, this is an adventure that you can start off with your players as you are playing some apes, and you're going to hunt down some tribal humans in this, but some stuff's going to be a little bit different for you. So rumors, reports, myths, and legends, like that, true and false. And it's going to break it all down to some stuff you need to roll. There's a couple of like investigative sites you're going to go to here as you're going to go around this area map. It's just a really cool adventure to start off with. I'm glad it's in the book. Just to have something that you can kind of see how it flows. Earned rewards. You're going to ask some questions here, and you're going to give experience points based off that. Did all the PCs survive? Did the players figure out it was astronauts hunting them? Things like that. You're going to ask, and you're going to get experience points for that. And then here are the NPCs that you can use for it. You can run the NPC astronauts right there. And then we've got actual pre-generated characters that you can use in that adventure or any adventure that you want to use right here in the back. And again, I really like the font. Sometimes a little bit difficult to read. I'll be honest with you. This one here kind of gets me. I have to kind of get used to that ape font there. But yeah, it's got everything you need. I like the character sheets a lot. I love how they're color coordinated with what type character you're playing. And addicting, and that's for that adventure. And then campaigning on the Planet of the Apes, telling you about like PC diversity, breaking some more stuff down about kind of like the future, what you can do with this game. You know, Underdweller campaign, astronaut campaign, tribal human campaign, the Fellowship campaign. There's a bunch of stuff here you can do. So you could literally just play Planet of the Apes and say, we're just going to play astronauts. Or we're just going to play tribal humans. Or maybe you just take a break. Maybe you've been playing an astronaut campaign, and now you're like, you know what, let's try to play these tribal humans, or let's play the Fellowship. So there's a lot of choices like that. And I think that's where people just don't understand how much this game's got going for it when it comes to diversity of just gameplay and action and story. And it's really neat. And then you can try to intermingle these, such as astronaut with a tribal human like Nova. Maybe you get one of the Underdwellers to come with you. It's just a lot of stuff that you can play. And I'll be talking about that in future videos I'm going to make to explain to you and give you some suggestions about how you can intertwine all these, even apes, along with it. Because some apes went along with like Taylor, and they helped Brent out. And so there's a lot of cool stuff to be had right there. There's some random episode hooks right here, episode plots that you can get a lot of inspiration from. So breaking it all down, apes rule, investigation, protect society, astronaut episode hooks such as Stranger in a Strange Land or the Melting Pot problems. And there's an easy episode generator. You can just roll something up. So we can roll up, let's see, that's a 4. So investigate. It's a rule 8. When I roll 4 again, ruins of the old world. 1 is the society beliefs or authority, and the reward is going to be a clue, hook, or answer. So that's very, very cool. Some more stuff here you can kind of roll up for different episodes right there at the end, and then you've got your character sheet at the back of it. So that's the core rule book. It's absolutely fantastic, and I've just really am blown away about what they've done with it. The ANSA file source book is even more impressive when it comes to if you were a Planet of the Apes fan, with all the stuff that's in there, all the different movies, and how they bring it all together. It's just a wealth of knowledge. But this rule book is fantastic. It's got a lot of the stuff you want in it. Some people have complained about maybe the maps are not as detailed as they would like, because a lot of people really get into the maps of Planet of the Apes as well, looking at stills from like the TV show and stuff and trying to figure out where everything was. But overall, it's a fantastic book. I love the system. I love the art. It's been just an absolute joy to actually have. And you can still late pledge, kind of back this, and I'll have a link down in the description if you want to go and see if you can do that. You can order it. It will be coming out to retail at some point, of course, for everybody to buy. Not the slipcase versions, though, but the normal retail version. And there's a lot more to talk about, obviously. So I wanted to do my actual overview of the core rulebook. I'll be doing one on the ANSA file source book and into the Forbidden Zone box set, because there's just so much cool stuff that you can see, stuff that you can actually pick up that wasn't Kickstarter exclusive. Try to do videos on those and let you see what is so great about this game, system-wise, all the stuff you get in it. And then my other videos will be more geared and specialized on actually using this game, stuff you can do with it, and a whole bunch more stuff. And I want to just say I will be having an interview with Andrew Gaska, and I'm super excited about that as well, and other people as well. Jim Beard has also said he'd love to be on my channel here to check out more about, get his insight into working on the role-playing game of the Planet of the Apes. So there it is, just an awesome, awesome book, and I hope this has been informative to you. You'll pick it up, you'll try it, and we'll have a lot of fun with it. So thanks a lot, and go Apes.